Hi everybody, welcome to week 4. This week we're doing a knit technique. It might be something that's a little complicated for most people, but I think when you start it, you'll really like it. I don't have a sample to show you, but the stitch we're going to do is called the Entrelac stitch. And it creates this beautiful like weaving looking technique, which doesn't take too much know-how to do. You can make it pretty easily, and it doesn't require a lot of skills. Really, all you need to know is how to slip knit, or purl two together and pick up stitches off of an edge. And then you get this pretty basket weave look. Okay, let's start. Hey everybody. Today we're going to attempt a technique that might seem a little uncomfortable. It's actually not too bad. It just requires following the instructions. So it's not a lacy style of pattern work. It is called Entrelac. So Entrelac is one of those stitches. Well, it's not stitched. It gives a woven look. So that is what we are going to start on. Let me just find it in my book. I'm looking. I've got the Vogue knitting book, which is the encyclopedia. So Entrelac is spelled E-N-T-R-E-L-A-C. And it is an interesting word. I don't know if it comes from anything. I think it's French. But it gives, like I said, that pretty woven look. So there are 3 components to it. And it requires that you have to work the base triangles, then right-leaning rectangles, and then left-leaning rectangles, and then your triangles at the end are how you cast off. So I haven't really done it, so we're going to attempt it together. No pressure. I'm going to start it with 22 stitches. So let me just show you the book. The book doesn't give you like a pattern, but that's what it looks like. And here's how I'm attempting it. I'm going to start. So I've looked at several different patterns, and they say to start with, if you're making like a scarf size, start with 22. And I've got a size 7 needle, a size 4 yarn. I forgot that I can't put this yarn on camera. It turns everything blue. Oh well. So I'm going to start with a long tail cast on, and I'm going to cast on 22 stitches because I only want to do the bare minimum here. So size 7 yarn, size 7 needle, size 4 yarn. I'm doing the long tail cast on, where you give yourself a long tail and you wrap the yarn around your fingers like this. Go in the center like that. Bring it through, hold it at the bottom, hold both ends, and make kind of like that M shape. We did this in another video. Long tail cast on is just nice because it allows you to have a stretchier edge. So I just want to get to 22. In mine, they're using 8 stitches as a triangle. I think I'm using 10. Or maybe it's 11. Because I'm only going to 22. Let's see. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. Let's count from the other side. 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. Perfect. Okay, so I've got my long tail. I'm going to use the end that I don't want to use the short end. I want to use the end that goes to the ball. So first thing I'm going to do is you're going to start on the wrong side. So to work the base, you're going to purl 2 stitches, okay? So we're going to purl 2. And I know that it seems weird because we're on a cast on edge, just trust me. So purl 2, turn, and then knit those 2. So we're going to go back. It's kind of like when you do short rows. If you've ever done a short row, don't mix up your end from your tail end. You want your ball end. So first I knit or purl 2, now I'm knitting 2, okay? Turn, and we're on the first side again, so now we're going to purl 3. So this is how you do your triangles. 2, 3. Okay? Now we're going to turn it, and then we're going to knit 3. Sometimes they slip too. You don't have to, but we're going to, they're just the first triangles, so doesn't say that, I know you can't really read it with me. Do not, so I'm right here, work the first base triangle, purl 2 stitches in wrong side, and turn and knit 2, turn and knit and purl 3. Continue in this manner until all the stitches in this triangle have been purled. Do not turn, but begin to work the next triangle. So I think I'm doing 11 because I've got 22 and I only want to do 2 base triangles instead of the 3 they do. Okay, so the way it works is you add 1 on the purl side. So I got to knit to the end. Okay, it would probably help to have a stitch marker. So let's just put that stitch marker on here. It's always a good idea when you're doing something. So let's put it in the halfway point. So 3, 5, 8, 10, 11. That should work. It's a little weird, but go ahead and put that there. I know it's, if you have a fatter needle than mine, it might not work. Okay. So we're on a purl row, so we're going to pick up 1 more stitch. So purl all the way to, I had worked 3, so now I'm going to pick up 1 more. Oop. So 4. Okay. And that's how you're making your triangle. So you did 4 this row. Sometimes it helps to have a tally too. So now we're going to turn, and we're not picking up any on our knit side. We just knit to the end. Okay. Turn. So I picked up 4. This is like short rows. So I'm going to knit, or purl, sorry, and pick up 5, or the 5th stitch. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, turn. So eventually we'll get to 11. So knit those 5. You guessed it, we're doing the 6th one now. Oops, don't knit your purl stitches. So purl 6. Sorry about the blue cast. I forgot about how the orange makes the blue, the white cast blue. Hopefully when I start the pink it'll. So, okay, so now I have 6. So I'm just going to keep going until I reach that stitch marker there. So once you pick up one more from your cast on edge, you have to go back 1 and knit to the beginning. And your cast on might be feeling tight, it's okay. Okay. See how it kind of is shaped like a triangle? Keep going. So purl and pick up 1 to make 7. So eventually when you do this, it will look more like a triangle. So this is purl 7. Okay, turn, knit those 7. You could do this as a scarf too if you want. Okay, so I know it's kind of not a lot to this right now. But I want to show you what happens when you get to 11. Yeah. Did I do 8 before? So I'm on 8. The triangle's kind of curling a little. I don't think it'll keep doing that. We'll just have to see. So I should be on 10. So I should have only 1 more turn to do. So purl side you always pick up for this triangle on the base. Okay. Oh. I guess maybe I have 2. Let's count these. 5, 10, 11. Yeah, that's right. What do I have here? 4, 9. I think I pick up 1 more. I'm not sure. No. Maybe I'm counting wrong. Okay. Bear with me. Just pick up 1 at a time each row. That looks right though. So knit to the end. It's like short rows, you just keep adding height as you go. And test anybody on this. This is just a more advanced technique. So I thought it'd be fun to do. Some people like doing this in like cushions or scarves. I wonder if I move it back. So a lot of it is just turning pearl. Okay, so I'm on my 10th stitch here. Okay, see, I'm kind of curling a little. You know what this looks like is a Dorito? So keep that in mind when you make these, I guess. Okay, last one. Maybe if you want it to look a little more like this, do a couple less stitches. I'm doing quite a lot actually, so 11's kind of a lot. Okay, so now that I've gotten to my last stitch I'm going to pick up, I'm going to start my triangle again. So now, see, I've got my triangle. That's how it's supposed to look. I'm not going to turn it this time. I'm going to just move this marker over. I'm going to start the next triangle. So when you started last time, it was 2 pearls, right? And then you knit 1, or sorry, go back and knit them. Okay. And then we purl 3 to pick up. So we're just traveling along like we did with the last one. So I don't feel the need to have to show you this. It's pretty evident or like self-explanatory. So I'm going to try to finish this and then we'll come back to the next row. Okay, so now you're going to work the next row. So we're going to turn it because we finished our purl side. And you finished by incorporating the last purl of the cast on edge. So I gotta cut this. We're done with the orange for now. I'm gonna start my next color. And I'm going to do what's on here, my right leaning triangle going this way. So they're a little different. Okay. And what you have to do is with the right side facing, we're going to start the next color. We're going to knit 2 stitches from here, but with the new color. So we're going to 1, okay, 2, all right. Then we're going to turn. We'll purl 2 stitches, 1, 2. So you might be having trouble with this here. I'd suggest tying these together. Whenever you're having trouble with tails in a work, tie the tails together and you can come back and untie them later. Okay, so let me get that ball out of the way. I need more of this though. Okay, so knit 2, turn, purl 2, turn. Now on the right side we're going to increase 1 stitch in the first stitch by knitting into the front and the back of each stitch. So we're going to knit front and back. So that's 2 stitches from that stitch. I'm sorry if you hear a vacuum cleaner or a blender. I'm not really sure what that is. Then, okay, so we have to slip the next stitch knitwise. Sorry. And then slip the first stitch of the base triangle knitwise. And insert the left hand needle through the loops of both stitches and knit them together like a slip knit. Okay? There's several ways to do this. You can do like a Passover type thing too. Turn and purl the wrong side row. So then we're going to keep doing that increase on the side. So knit front and back. Knit this next stitch. Then we slip this one knitwise, slip the next one knitwise, and bring the needle through both and then slip, slip, knit. Okay, so now I should have 4. Then I turn. Okay, purl it. Okay, turn. So knit front and back. So knit 2. And we just need to slip the one that's at that edge here. So slip knitwise, and then go through both. Okay, so I should have 5. So turn, purl all the way to the end. This shouldn't be too hard. Knit front and back, knit 3, and then slip, slip, knit these 2 together. See, could be a little nicer, but how it's joining now. Okay, turn, so I should have 6. You're really just decreasing one every time, or not decreasing, sorry, increasing one every time you turn. So that's how you do a right side triangle on the right side. So you're just going to keep going and increasing. And eventually when we get to the end, this is going to be pink across here instead of orange. Knit front and back. Really isn't too difficult. Slip, slip. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get to the end of the row here. So I don't feel like I need to show you that. We're doing okay. Okay, so now we're going to get to the last stitch of this triangle. Okay, make sure these don't get twisted. So we're going to knit front and back like last time. Knit. Okay. And then we knit until the last pink stitch. Okay, slip, and then slip this one, and then we're going to slip slip, knit. And then you've completed your first side triangle. So now we got to start the rectangle, which kind of keeps you going in this system. So I gotta pick up stitches now. So I know that sounds daunting, so I thought, now I've like twisted it several times. Sounds daunting, so I thought I would show you. I think I got rid of my stitch marker. Okay, so just sometimes the easiest way to do this, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Whew. Sometimes the easiest way to do this is to mark the halfway point, because I'll have 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, see, I've got, I'm probably going to end up skipping. I'll just go in. 1. I got to just pick up 11. So 1. So notice I didn't turn and purl the next row. 3. You can skip stitches. I think I skipped one there. 4. However it works for you. 5. So that's 5. Sometimes it helps to just put the stitch marker down too, so you know where you're going. And then I'm gonna go like 6 right here, so that's like halfway. 7. We skip 1, 8. I'm gonna skip another 9, 10, 11. I know I did this kind of sloppy, but there it is. It's on my triangle. So I picked up the stitches, and now I'm going to join the first right side rectangle. So I'm going to knit to the last stitch on the right hand needle. So I'm going to go, let's see. Oh, pick up the stitches, turn to purl to the end of the row. Okay. So I'm not going to add more to the triangle. I'm just going to go to the stitch marker. So it's just the 11 stitches. I'm going to turn and purl the 11. Okay, now I'm going to turn. So I had to knit to join the first right side rectangle to the second base triangle. Knit to the last stitch, and then we're going to pick up stitches. So like we did before. So I'm going to the 11. Oop, into the last stitch. Then I'm going to slip this one and slip that one like we did with the right side rectangle, and we're going to just slip, 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 or we're going to SSK, slip, slip, knit them together. So you should still have the 11. You're not decreasing stitches, which is a funny way to think about it, but we're continuing across this orange row. So I'll show you again how that works. It's like we did with the right side. So the stitch marker is kind of nice because it keeps you from going too far. And eventually you'll have that space. And eventually you'll have that space, so it'll sit there and you will notice the difference. So this one we just knit to the last pink stitch. So leave one pink stitch on your left hand needle, okay? And we're going to use it to pick up the stitch. So slip it right side. We're going to go through both and slip, slip, knit. Okay? Now it doesn't really look like it's working, but it does. You're joining this edge up here. So let's do it one more time. I think it would be nice to see it before I show you how to work on the left corner triangle. It looks cute on the other side too. Okay. Turn it around. And then knit to the end. Because remember, we're only working our section at a time. So even though this is pink, it's not connected to this one. So you could knit across the row and actually finish it, like cast it off if you wanted to. But don't knit across ever if you're working on each triangle section. Okay, left one. Slip them knitwise, and then slip, slip, knit. And you'll know you're doing it right if you're not really decreasing pink stitches here. So I've got 11 still. Okay? And this should come out to look like a rectangle. So I want to keep going to get to the end of this row, then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so it's kind of dark. I'm going to show you the last bit, so I'm going to come finish my pink rectangle. So far it doesn't really look like too much, but it's giving you a woven edge, and I want to finish by showing you it's not too difficult. So slip, slip, and then slip, slip, knit. Okay, so that should be 11. 6 and 5 is 11, so that's my 11 over there. So now I have to pick up 11 from this side, so let's do that. It's one, just, I think eyeballing it's fine. I want to just pick up one. 1, 2. Okay, if you need it, sorry for the noise. If you need it, put on your stitch marker. I don't like that one right next to it. 2, 3. I want to get to maybe 6 around here. 4, 5. Now I'm gonna skip one. 5. Oh, and then 6. Okay. So it's like 6 so far. 7. I think I'll skip one. 8. 9. 10. 11. Okay, so we did just like we did last time. So I should have 11, okay, just about. You don't have to go all the way to the end, but maybe it might be nicer if I go closer. So one more, 11. Okay, perfect. So, we are going to, picked it up the stitches. We're going to turn the work, okay? So we're going to decrease stitches on the left hand side. So we'll start by working a purl two together, okay? And we're going to purl two together, just these two, and work until the end of the row. We'll purl until the end. Okay, so I should have 10 now before the stitch marker. Remember, you're only working your little section. So you have 10 on the needle, it should be perfect. So yeah, 10. Remember, we're working a triangle this time, so we want it to decrease. So now, on this side, we're going to knit all the way across, so no changing anything. Because we want to keep that square look of this. I know right now it doesn't look like anything, but it kind of has a little bit of a square look, so we got to keep going. Okay, knit, turn, purl two together, and purl all the way back. So now you should have 9 stitches instead of 10. So you're just decreasing one. Each row you go up, well, on the wrong side. Eventually you'll have a little more spacing between you and that stitch marker, so it'll look right. Knit across after you turn. No decreasing on the knit row this time for your left hand side triangle. Don't accidentally like take out your stitches from the other parts of your, like, don't take these out. I know it's blue, sorry. Purl two together. So you should have 8. And it will get easier to knit this, because the more space you have, the better. Okay, so you should have 8 now. Knit to the end. And we want to go until we have 2 stitches left for this triangle. So purl two together. Knit to the end. Purl two together. Now I should have 5, I think. No, 6. Knit to the end. Purl 2 together. Now I have 5. Okay, so I keep going. Now I have 4. Knit. Purl 2 together. Now I have 3. Almost there. Okay. Purl 2 together for the last time. And purl the last one, and then I want to knit just to the end. Okay. And that's how you do your second row of your Entrelac. So this is your Entrelac colors. It doesn't look like much so far, but when you start the next row, it will look pretty cool. So this is it for this video. I will show you next week how to continue and do that next row. I think here I only have, okay, yeah, I only have like 2 more ways to show you how to do it. So that's pretty much it. I'll show you next week how to finish this guy off, and then that's the end of our Entrelac. Don't expect you to know how to do this, but it's something interesting. Okay, so that's it for this week. Next week we'll continue with our Entrelac, but this is what we have so far. I know I've kind of got some crazy colors, and you don't have to do these colors, but this is what it should kind of look like, the weaving look. It looks like this on the back. Creates these pretty triangles and squares in weaving, but in knit, to create like that basket weave. You don't see it yet, but that's because we got to finish it next week. So we're done with part 1 of this. Look forward to seeing this next week, getting done in part 2. See you next week. Thanks.